Good evening. Welcome to KCC 44th edition of K Community Chennai. Welcome to all the online participants also. So I just heard Ramasamy sir joining through the online because he's not well. 44th edition we have Shiva. So I then Shiva requested me that he introduce himself in a creative way. We have really two good sessions today. One on creative thinking and second on technology and supply chain management. So two different topics today. So looking forward for the exciting sessions. So I'll pass it on to Shiva without further delay. Shiva, thanks a lot for accepting, and then looking forward to the session.
Thank you. I should stand or sit down?
Stand first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi. Thank you for the invitation, and hi to everyone else who is probably watching. Gopal tells me lots of people are watching, so I'm not sure. But anyway, all right. So thank you. I said I'll introduce myself because it helps us to connect in an easier way than getting introduced by someone. I know that I have exactly 1 hour, so I will introduce myself quickly. And my name is Shiva. I'm from Chennai. I started my life in the Taj Coromandel long ago. I was a receptionist in the Taj, and I still tell all my friends that one of the best experiences I've had in my life is being in the hotel. And most of the lessons I have learned in my life are from the hotel. Lessons like learning to smile at people in spite of being angry with somebody. How to smile at someone when you're actually angry with that person is something that I learned in the Taj. And then I was working, I did my BCom, and then I did my BL, Bachelor's of Law. I did my Master's in Law, and then I was practicing as a lawyer for some time, practicing as a lawyer in the Madras High Court. I was practicing constitutional law and matrimonial law. So if you have any doubts on see, every audience laughs at matrimonial law. I don't know why. It's supposed to be one of the most important laws in our world, right? But I was not asking you to ask me doubts on matrimonial law. If you have any doubts on the Constitution of India, right, then you're welcome to ask me any questions you want. And for about 7 years I was practicing as a lawyer, and then I joined TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, in 91. And I have been in TCS almost for 20 years, till 2009, I think, yes, 2009. So in TCS, of course, we started this journey in creativity in 1999. So I started off learning the tools of creativity, and my job in TCS was to evangelize creativity. So I was just going around helping people be excited about creativity and all that. And one of the highlights of my life, and I really want to share it with you, is I met Greg Chappell in 2005, and I did some work with the Indian cricket team. We worked on essentially looking at the connection between creativity and sports. And it's one of those, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said, one of those things that I have learned in my life is to build dreams. And in 2001, I had written a dream saying that I want to work with the Indian cricket team. And somehow dreams keep driving you all the time, give you direction and all that. So that's me. Right now I'm on my own. I run a company called the PaperClip. When I say I run a company, it's only me and no one else. So that's what I am. For a living, I conduct workshops on creativity innovation, and I also do some work around cross-culture. But I can't do this program. This program is about creative thinking. And we can go on and on and on about creative thinking, but I thought I will, I just finished a program, thanks to Vijay, a program for the new entrants at IIT Madras, where we asked the question to the engineer. The basic question we asked was, what does it mean to be an engineer? Right? And then one of the answers that we got from the students themselves is, an engineer is not only a person who works in an office, he can also be an inventor. So this whole program is trying to find out how we can decode an inventor. What is it that makes an inventor an inventor? So in order to decode an inventor, you must forgive me because I have to use a video. I have to use Pranav Mistri's video. So we'll have to watch Pranav Mistri's video for about 10 minutes because you will understand later on how important that video is in order to decode an inventor. So this topic, when you go home today, at the end of 1 hour, when you go home today, you'll probably ask yourself, you'll probably ask yourself or tell yourself that you learned how, not you learned really, but you started to question what is it that makes an inventor? That's what we're going to do, right? And therefore, I would love to have your views, etc., at the end of the session, so that all of us can make this world a more inventing world, if I may use the word, right? So the first thing is Pranav Mishri's video. I'm going to stop it at 10 minutes because there may be portions which may not be.
We grew up interacting with the physical objects around us, and there are enormous number of them that we every day use. Unlike our most computing devices, these objects are much more fun to use with. When you talk about objects, one another thing automatically comes attached to that thing, and that is gestures, how we manipulate these objects, how we use this object in everyday life. We use gestures not only to interact with these objects, but we also use to interact with each other. Like gesture of namaste, maybe to respect someone, or maybe in India, I don't need to teach a kid that this means 4 run in cricket. It comes as a part of our everyday learning. So I'm very interested from beginning that how can our knowledge about everyday objects and the gestures and how we use this object can be leveraged to our interaction with the digital world. Rather than using a keyboard and mouse, why can I not use my computer in the same way that I interact in the physical world? So I started this exploration around 8 years back, and it literally started with a mouse on my desk. Rather than using that for computer, I actually opened it. And most of you might be aware that in those days, the mouse used to come with a ball inside, and there are 2 rollers that actually guides the computer that where the ball is moving and accordingly where the mouse is moving. So I was interested in these 2 rollers, and I actually wanted more. So I borrowed another mouse from a friend, never returned him, and I have now 4 rollers. What interestingly I did with these rollers is basically I took them off from these mouses and then put in a one line. It had some strings and pulleys and some spring. And what I got is basically a gesture interface device that actually acts as a motion sensing device made out of $2. So here, whatever movement I do in my physical world is actually replicated inside the digital world just using this small device that I made around 8 years back in 2000. Because I was interested in integrating these 2 worlds, I thought of sticky notes. I thought, why can I not connect the normal interface of physical sticky note to our digital world? A message written on a sticky note with my mom on a paper can come to an SMS, or maybe a meeting reminder automatically syncs with my digital calendar. And a to-do list automatically syncs with you. But you can also search in the digital world, or maybe you can write a query saying, what is Dr. Smith's address? And this small system actually prints out. So it actually acts as a paper input-output system, just made out of paper. In one another exploration, I thought of making a pen that can draw in 3 dimensions. So I implemented this pen that can help designers and architects not only think in 3 dimensions, but they can actually draw so that it's more intuitive to use that way. Then I thought, why not making a Google map, but physical world? Rather than typing a keyword to find something, I put my objects on top of that. If I put a boarding pass, it will show me where is your flight gate. A coffee cup will show you where you can find more coffee, or where you can trace that cup. So this was some of the earlier explorations I did, because the goal was to connect these 2 worlds seamlessly. Among all these experiments, there was one thing very common. I was trying to bring a part of the physical world to the digital world. I was taking some part of the objects or anything intuitiveness of the real life and bringing them to digital world. Because the goal was to make our computing interfaces more intuitive. But then I realized that we human actually are not interested in computing. What we are interested is in information. We want to know about things. We want to know about dynamic things going around. So I thought about last year, in the beginning of the last year, I started thinking that why can I not take this approach in reverse way? Maybe how about I take my digital world and paint the physical world with that digital information? Because pixels are actually right now confined in this rectangular devices that fits in our pocket. Why can I not remove this confine and take that to my everyday objects, everyday life, so that I don't need to learn the new language for interacting with those pixels? So in order to realize this dream, actually I thought of putting a big size projector on my head. I think that's why it's called head-mounted projector, isn't it? I took it very literally and took my bike helmet, put a little bit cut over there so that project actually fits nicely. So now what I can do, I can augment the world around me with this digital information. But later I realized that I actually wanted to interact with those digital pixels also. So I put a small camera over there that acts as a digital eye. Later we moved to a much better or consumer-oriented pendant version of that many of you are now knowing as Sixth Sense device. But the most interesting thing about this particular technology is that you can carry your digital world with you wherever you go with you. You can start using any surface, any wall around you as an interface. The camera is actually tracking all your gestures. Whatever you are doing with your hands, it's understanding that gesture. And actually, if you see, there are some color markers that in the beginning version we were using over there. You can start painting on any wall, that you stop by a wall and start painting on that wall. But we are not only tracking here one finger. We are giving you the freedom of using all the both of hands. So you actually can use both of your hands to zoom into or zoom out a map just by pinching operation over here. The camera is actually doing just getting all the images, it's doing the age recognition and also the color recognitions, and like so many small algorithms are going inside. So technically it's a little bit so complex, but it gives you an output which is more intuitive to use in some sense. But I'm more excited that you can actually take it outside. Rather than getting your camera out of your pocket, you can just do the gesture of taking a photo and it takes photo for you, right? Thank you. And later I can find a wall, anywhere a wall, and start browsing these photos, or maybe, okay, I want to modify this photo a little bit and send it as an email to a friend. So we are looking for an era where computing will actually merge with the physical world. And of course, if you don't have any surface, you can start using your palm for simple operation. I'm here, I'm dialing a phone number just using my hand. Yep. The camera is actually not only understanding your hand movements, but interestingly, it's also able to understand what objects you are holding in your hand. What we are doing here is actually, for example, in this case, the book cover is matched with so many thousands of, or maybe millions of books online, and checking out which book it is. Once it has that information, it finds out more reviews about that, or maybe New York Times had a sound overview on that, so you can actually hear on a physical book as a review of a sound.
Gave a famous talk at Harvard University.
This was Obama's last visit last week
to
MIT.
And in particular, I want to thank two outstanding MIT
So I was seeing the live of his talk outside in just a newspaper. Your newspaper will show you live of your weather information rather than having updated like you have to check your computer in order to do that, right? When I'm going back, I can just use my boarding pass and to check, oh, my flight has been how much delayed. Because at that particular time, I'm not feeling of opening my iPhone and checking out a particular icon. And I think this technology will not only change the way, yes, it will change the way we interact with people also, not only the physical world. The fun part is like I'm going to Boston Metro and playing Pong game inside the train on the ground, right? And I think the imagination is the only limit of what you can think of when this kind of technology merging with the real life. But many of you argue actually that all of our work is not only about physical objects. We actually do lots of accounting and paper editing and all this kind of thing. What about that? And many of you are actually excited about the next generation tablet computers to come out in the market. So rather than waiting for that, I actually made my own and just using a piece of paper. So what here I did is remove the camera, all the cameras, webcam, have a microphone inside that camera. I removed that microphone from that, and that just pinch that, like just make a clip out of that microphone and clip that to a piece of paper, any paper that you found around. So now the sound of the touch is exactly getting me when exactly I'm touching the paper. But the camera is actually tracking where my fingers are moving. You can of course watch movies.
Good afternoon. My name is Russell, and I am a wilderness explorer in Tribe 54.
And you can of course play games. Here the camera is actually understanding how you're holding the paper and playing the car racing game. Many of you already must have thought, okay, you can browse. Yeah, of course you can browse to any website. So you can do all sort of computing on a piece of paper wherever you need it. So, but more interestingly, I'm interested that how we can take that in a more dynamic way. When I come back to my desk, I can just pinch that information back to my desktop so that I can use my full-size computer. And why only computers? We can just play with papers. Like paper world is interesting to play with. So here I'm taking a part of a document and putting over here the second part of from second place, and I'm actually modifying the information that I have over there. Yeah, and then I'm saying, okay, this looks nice. Let me print it out, that thing. So I have a now printout of that thing, and now, so the workflow is more intuitive the way that we used to do before, maybe 20 years back, rather than now switching between these two worlds. So as a last thought, I think that integrating information to our everyday objects will not only help us to get rid of the digital divide, the gap between these two worlds, but will also help us in some way to stay human, to be more connected to our physical world. And it will actually help us not end up being machines sitting in front of another machines. So that's all. Thank you.
Good one, no? I must have done this, thanks to Vijay, about 50 times in the last 1 month. Seen this. But it continues to sort of amaze me every time I see it. Now, and we have about half an hour now. The entire question is, now based on Pranav Mistry, what are those, there could be several, but I'm going to be talking only about 5. What are those 5 things that make an inventor? According to you, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that help Pranav Mistry be who he is? And I have a point to prove when I come to the end of the session. But the first question I have for all of you is, you saw Pranav Mistry, you enjoyed what he was doing. I think he's doing some great stuff. Now, and you know that he's an inventor. Now, what are those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that make Pranav Mistry who he is? 1. Creativity, okay. What is it, the first thing that you need to become a Pranav Mistry? Relentlessness, inquisitiveness. The point is, I'm not saying you are wrong. The point is, I'm used to those 5 things as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, you know, I'm only hoping that one of you will match what I have in my head. It's nothing that,
Finding a problem?
Before that, finding a problem is there, but that's number 3 for me. First one.
Not being constrained by what?
First one.
No boundaries.
First one. I worked with the Delhi Daredevils last year. My job was to motivate the team and all. I worked with them for two months. I was traveling around with the team and all that. And I learned a very important lesson, which I want to, pass it on to you. Virendra Sehwag was the captain of the Delhi Daredevils. And we used to have team meetings, right? And Virendra Sehwag, by nature, is a very quiet person. I don't know whether he's listening to me now, but he's a very quiet person. And whenever we had a team meeting, and Virendra Sehwag was asked to speak, he would simply say all the best. That's all. He would never make one long speech. But 8 o'clock, Delhi is going to bat. Ferosa Kotla, right? And Virendra Sehwag comes out to bat. And when he comes out to bat, I can still visualize that entire stadium, about 70,000 people saying, "Veeru, Veeru, Veeru, Veeru." And Dale Steyn, the fastest bowler in the IPL, comes running into Virendra Sehwag and bowls the fastest ball, whatever. And Virendra Sehwag goes in front and hits it for a 6, right? Now, if you go around Chennai today and you go to any park, you'll find lots and lots of young people hitting fast balls for a 6. But what is it that makes Virendra Sehwag one of those 11 people who can hit Dale Steyn for a 6? What is that? And I think that is the common thing between Pranav Mistry and Virendra Sehwag. Yes, why no fear? What is it about himself? Belief. Believing in his own abilities. I think that's step one for any one of us who wants to be creative, who wants to be inventing anything at all. I think Pranav Mistry simply believes that he can do it. I think every time Virendra Sehwag went out to bat, he believed that he could hit every ball for a six. Of course, it was not a good thing all the time, but I think that's number one. Of course, we can argue and things like that, but since this is a forum where we want to think about these things, I think self-belief, believing in your own creativity is number one in order to be an inventor. The only difficulty in self-belief is how do you teach it? You can't teach self-belief. I have been struggling for asking myself, how do you teach self-belief? How do you make someone believe in oneself? Right? I have led my life in various ways, but the problem with belief is that you keep losing it all the time. Right? 4 months ago, I didn't make money for almost 2 months, and I lost my belief. It just slips out all the time. I called 2 or 3 of my friends. I said, I haven't made any money at all. Can you give me a job? Of course, luckily for me, that man said, no, Shiva, just wait for some more time. I think this is something that happens to all of us, right? I don't know. I really don't know. I just want to share with you this. So I'm not going to prescribe anything. I'm just saying that believing in your own creativity is probably the first thing that inventors do. That one does in order to do something creative, in order to do something by way of invention and all that.
And you need the right environment.
But all of us have believed in ourselves. All of us have lost our beliefs, right? I don't know how to make it happen every time you attempt something. How to make it permanent?
You shouldn't have a fear of failure. Right? So that will give
Yeah, but is it possible? Is it possible?
With the right environment, it can be.
I'm not sure. So that's anyway. So I'm not sure. I don't have an answer. I just want to lay out the 5 things that probably make an inventor, that probably help in creative thinking and all that. So therefore, 1 is believe in your own creativity. What is 2? 2. What according to you is Pranav Mistry doing in order to become an inventor?
He's trying out things.
One thing again which is not taught in schools and colleges, something that all of us have. See, many of these things, belief all of us have, right? Every one of us has belief. What is the second thing? And Pranav Mistry uses that word. He says, dash is the only thing that can stop you. Pardon? Imagination. I've always asked, I met someone from the government last week and I said, can we imagine an air-conditioned Chennai? Right? And whenever I ask this question, people have always laughed, but it should be possible, right? Somehow I feel that we have not used our imagination enough. I know that there are a lot of countries that prevent the entire, I don't know, air-conditioned Chennai, how many of you think it's possible? Yes, but the problem is, you have to start imagining, right? Just imagine Harry Potter without imagination. I have to show you a small 1-minute clip which will help you understand what I'm saying. Can I show it? just to help you understand what I'm trying to say. Just to help you understand what I'm trying to say. Just imagine all those things that happened were all part of someone's imagination. Harry Potter, I went to a school to talk about creativity. It was my son's school. And I promised my son that I wouldn't go to his class. I think children hate you if you go to their class. So I go to the school, there are these 12th standard kids, and I'm talking, it's okay to sit down, right? Yes. I'm talking to these 12th standard kids, and I ask them, I say, how many of you are creative? Stupid question. You can't ask children like that. And none of them raised their hands. I said, I'm sorry for the question. I said, for the next 10 minutes, supposing you had the opportunity to be J.K. Rowling, supposing you had the opportunity to be Shakespeare, supposing you had the opportunity to be Tolkien, then how would you rewrite Harry Potter? How would you rewrite Romeo and Juliet? How would you rewrite The Lord of the Rings? You wouldn't believe the silence in the class. All the children started writing. One little girl asked me, she said, excuse me, can I be J.K. Rowling for some time? I said, of course you can be, who stops you? And they started writing. And they came out with some beautiful versions of Harry Potter. Right? And one little boy said, he said, if I was Shakespeare, I wouldn't let Romeo and Juliet die. I would go to their parents, speak to them, and make them, live. Suddenly we are learning that we are not giving enough time for imagination. Why are not schools asking the question on Aurangzeb, instead of saying, what did Aurangzeb eat and sleep and all that? Why are we not asking the question, if you were Aurangzeb, how would you have ruled India? That one opportunity to be imaginative, is not being provided for us. And I think we are missing out a huge thing in creativity by not learning how to imagine, not practicing imagination, not teaching imagination. I think that's number 2 for an inventor, right? So therefore, 1, self-belief, 2, imagination, 3. Third, whatever we call it, attribute, steps, whatever, for an inventor. What? Very good, like I said, identifying the problem. I think, I'm not sure about this one, but for me, you see, if somehow I think we need to move away from seeking information to seeking problems in order to be an inventor. Somehow. For instance, if you look at my life, I can talk to you about my life, and I apparently, one can say, okay, Shiva, life and all that, I'm not really happy with what I have been. If I have to die in the next half an hour, I won't die a happy man, because I have still not been able to contribute. I know it sounds a little different and all that, but you must excuse me, this is my personal thing. I really wish I had solved a problem for society or something, some important thing in my life. I really wish. For instance, I know the kidnapping is a very important, difficult problem to solve, a big problem in India. Lots and lots of children get kidnapped. One of my dreams would have been if I could solve the kidnapping problem. I know it's easy to solve. Many of my science friends tells me it's very, very easy. All you need is if this is the child, you just need a small electronic device, and the child leaves home, goes to school, leaves school, comes back home, and you build a corridor of safety, electronic bridge of safety, whatever. If the child gets off this thing, there's a small, a signal to my phone saying my child has gone off the electronic bridge. I know these problems, these solutions are there. But if the solutions are there, then why are children still being kidnapped? Right? I also know a lot of people die in Chennai on the railway track. Right? When they are crossing the railway track, they're talking on the phone. Right? They're talking to their mother or their loved one. They say, hello, ma, and tuck, the next morning, next minute, they're dead. The mother, all she hears is the scream of people around the dead body. I know there's a simple solution to it. I know my non-scientific mind tells me the simple solution is to probably block any call in and around the railway track so that there is no way I can speak to anyone. And I know a lot of other solutions exist. But the point is, then why are people still dying? I think we have a problem from a creativity point of view. I think we have a problem in identifying problems to solve, in chasing problems that we want to solve. I think all of us are not inventors, not because we cannot be inventors, but we are lazy with the way we want to look at problems to solve. I think we have a problem. If you had given me only 1 minute to speak on creativity, I would probably have said that the only thing lacking for creativity is ownership. In order to solve a problem, I know the simple answer is, can we own that problem? I think if one person in this room, including myself, owned the problem of kidnapping and said, this is my problem, it's not the government's problem, it is not anyone's problem, it is my problem, I want to see the end of that problem, I think kidnapping will start to disappear soon. So therefore, for me, the third one, I think Pranav Mistry, in a way, has taken upon himself the problem of bridging the digital divide. If Pranav Mistry's dream comes true, then a very poor woman in India who has nothing else except a pot, she can actually speak to her son somewhere very far away using that pot as an interface, right? Which is what he's trying to do. And I think it makes a lot of sense that in order to be creative, in order to be an inventor, in order to practice creative thinking, the third thing is, can we chase problems? Instead of looking at a newspaper as information, can we look at a newspaper as an opportunity for problems? From tomorrow morning, when we read the newspaper, can we look at the newspaper saying, how many opportunities do I have for solving the problem, right? I think that's number 3. Number 4.
We have some responses from viewers who joined in virtually. So integration of disciplines is one of the response, and longing for staying human and making use of even the most simple, ordinary things to come up with something.
Very good, nice. Thank you. So there is someone watching.
Yes.
Someone is watching. Okay. All right.
I get calls saying, I'm seeing TED video, is the session on? They told TED video is part of it.
Okay. All right, so 4. So what are the 3 things? What are the 3 things? Belief, imagination, seeking problems. 4. 4, it's in the process. 4 is normally about generating new ideas. Of course, like I said, because of the paucity of time, we are running away with all this, but I would say it's important to start generating new ideas. But how do you generate ideas? All of us can generate ideas. There is nobody in this world who cannot generate an idea. For instance, if I ask someone, what are the ideas you have to spend your weekend? I'm sure each one of you will come out with something too. So what are we learning? We are learning that each one of us can generate ideas. But sometimes it may be important to use specific idea generation techniques in order to generate ideas. Can I take this opportunity to talk about one particular technique for generating ideas? Yes. One of the things that we could, okay, I'm going to ask you to do something. For a minute, forget that you are in this conference room listening to someone and all that. For instance, for a minute, ask yourself that you are the owners of a restaurant. Who are all of you? Owners of a restaurant. How many of you would like to own a restaurant someday? It's amazing why is it that there are so many people in India who want to own restaurants? I don't know. IIT, almost out of 826 students, I think about 700 want to own restaurants. I don't know what's happening to our country. You go to any cricketer, all the cricketers have a restaurant. Most of them want to retire with a restaurant. Anyway, so let's assume that all of us are owners of a restaurant. Who are we? What are we learning now? We are learning a technique for generating new ideas, right? And in order to learn that technique, I'm using this illustration. So we are all owners of a restaurant and we are doing badly. We are not making enough money with the restaurant. So what is our focus? In order to generate ideas, you always need a problem to solve. You can't say, Vijay, what are you doing? I'm generating ideas. About what? I don't know. I'm simply generating ideas. You can't do that. You have to say, I'm generating ideas about something, about bringing up my children, about teaching, something like that. So therefore, what is the problem we have now? I'm going to talk about only 4 steps. What is the step 1? What is the problem that we have? We want to generate ideas on how to make more money from the restaurant. Very good. So what is the problem definition?
Make money.
How ideas on making money from the, I just want you to repeat it so that you know What is the definition of the problem? Ideas on making money from the restaurant. Step 1. Step 2. Just give me about 3 minutes of your attention, please, and you will learn a new tool. Step 2. Think about what you take for granted about restaurants. What is it that restaurants must have? Restaurants have? Restaurants have? Food. Right? Without food, you cannot. So, the second part is to look for what you take for granted. Restaurants have food. Third step, drop, negate, cancel what you took for granted. What did you take for granted? Restaurants have food. Restaurants have food. So, what should you drop? Food. So, what's your sentence now? Restaurants have no food. Very good. Now, what is your problem? Ideas to make money from restaurants, but restaurants have no food. Give me ideas. 10 ideas from this room. Come on. Restaurants have no food, but you want to make money. Only ambience. So people come in, wow, what a lovely restaurant, and go away. Excellent. 1. Come on. Huh?
Take orders and then
Very good. So take orders and order from other restaurants. Very good. Excellent. 2. Then come on. Don't stop thinking. Restaurants have no food, but you must. Huh?
Travel advice. Making some travel.
So therefore, people come in. You give them travel advice. Very good. Then
take party orders.
Party orders. Very good. 3. Then excellent. So take your father-in-law. I was about to say mother-in-law, and then I'll get blamed for being sexist. So take your father-in-law and say, please make some food. Okay. And then
Movies on how people could learn how to make food.
brilliant. So movies on how to make food. Only smell of food, no food. So go to the restaurant and say, excuse me, can I have some biryani smell, please? Smell the food and come back. Only pictures of food, no food. So go around and say, masala dosa, dahi vada, right? Only pictures. 7 ideas. Come on, 3 more ideas.
Workshops by chef.
I'm sorry?
Workshops by chef.
Workshop by chef. Wow, what a great idea. So chefs come, they teach you how to make food. Brilliant. 2 more.
Give them food ideas. You can give them breakfast, have these things, you get these.
So food ideas, say nutrition, health and all that. Very good. Then multiple people in the single place, all of them cook their own food, and very good, great. Multiple vendors means vendors.
Like you're in malls actually.
Very good. Okay, multiple vendors in one place. Very good. Yes. Then
Indoor food, organic food garden, or a
food garden, food museum. Wow, 12 new ideas, right? At the end of these ideating session, your restaurant now has 12 ideas, and it will also have food. That's it. And suddenly, you're starting to learn a technique by which you simply drop what you took for granted in order to generate ideas. How it works is very simple. It's a very simple way. Can I tell you how it works? It's always good to remember techniques using principles, right? Can I quickly tell you how it works? Very simple. When I'm 4 years old, and my father wants to teach me to cross the road. So what does he do? He takes me to the edge of the road. He holds my hand. I'm 4 years old. My father wants to teach me to cross the road. My father takes me to the edge of the road. He holds my hand. He says, look left, no car. Look right, no car. Cross the road. I cross the road. Second day, my father takes me to the edge of the road. He holds my hand. He says, look left, no car. Look right, no car. Cross the road. I cross the road. Third day, my father takes me to the edge of the road. He holds my hand. He says, look left, no car. Look right, no car. Cross the road. I cross the road. Fourth day, my father is not there. But I must cross the road. What do I do? I'm standing at the edge of the road. I must cross the road. My father is not there. What do I do? What has happened in the last 3 days? Crossing the road has become a P-A-T-T pattern. Very good, very clever. Not bad, right? Crossing the road has become a pattern in your head, and you access the pattern. I access the pattern, and the pattern teaches me, look left, no car, look right, no car, cross the road. I cross the road. And suddenly we are learning that all through life, we are learning in patterns. How to eat food, patterns. Take the food, take the spoon, put it in the food, pick up the, put it in your mouth, patterns. How to wear clothes, patterns. You never make a mistake in how you wear clothes, right? Except if you're Superman, you may wear the wrong thing outside, right? Never make a mistake. Walk. When you're 1 year old, what did your mother do? Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg. What was she doing? She was not teaching you how to walk. She was building a pattern in your head. And suddenly we are learning that all through life, we are learning through patterns. And therefore, when we said restaurants have food, why did we say it? Because the pattern dictated to us that restaurants have food. And when we said restaurants have no food, what were we doing? We were breaking the pattern. And the minute we deliberately broke the pattern, the mind started looking for new things to do. And that's all is the trick. The trick is to simply say, if you want ideas, I want ideas on trains. What do I take for granted about trains? Trains have wheels. So what do I have to say? Trains have? No wheels. Can I hear you say the no, please? Trains have? No wheels. Brilliant. I want ideas on laptops. Laptops have keyboard. Laptops have? Laptops have? No keyboard. I want ideas on chairs. Chairs have legs. Chairs have? No legs. You get the bean bag, right? The minute you say trains have no wheels, you get the magnetic train. And suddenly we start to understand that breaking patterns is an important aspect of generating new ideas, right? It happens in sports all the time. What does the coach do? What does the coach do to a very important batsman? He builds a pattern, right? Ball on the leg side, sweep on the leg side. Ball on the leg side, sweep on the leg side. Ball on the leg side, sweep on the leg side. The coach is very happy because this man is a great sweeper of the ball. Last ball of the match, you are the opposing captain. And you know this man sweeps every ball on the leg side. 4 runs to make. You are the opposing captain. What will you tell your bowler? You will tell your bowler, bowl on the leg side and pack your leg side field with fielders so that he can't get that 4. Your bowler comes in and bowls on the leg side. But what does this man do? He sweeps on the off side and makes the reverse sweep, right? And that suddenly we are learning. So the only thing we need in order to break patterns, what is that quality that we need in order to break patterns, in order to say restaurants have no food, bottles have bottles are not meant for holding water. Water is not solid. Water is not liquid. Trains have no wheels. What is the quality that we need? The only quality we need in order to say it. You need to, in order to say spectacles do not sit on the ear. When you say spectacles do not sit on the ear, you think of contact lenses. So what is that one quality we need in order to say something does not necessarily have to be that way? Bravery. You need to be brave. You need to be brave to say trains have no wheels. So I'm saying creativity is about courage, right? In order to be able to say I can make a photograph with my fingers, you need to be brave in your mind. We always thought bravery was about soldiers, right? I'm saying no. I'm saying in order to be creative, one needs to be courageous. And that's the 4th one. What are the 4 things now? Belief, imagination, identification of a problem, and breaking patterns. Generating ideas, one of the things is breaking patterns. And of course, the last one is to implement the idea. I don't think you can call yourself creative or finish being an innovator or finish an innovation without implementation. I don't have the time to talk about implementation now, but it's an important aspect of creativity. Pranav Mistry, we saw that in order to be an inventor, in order to do something, you need to be a creative person. I know I have about 10 minutes more, and there's supposed to be about 5 minutes for questions, but I'm going to show you a video. I think it's very important to see this video just to help us understand what we have learned now. All right?
This is where I live. I live in Kenya, at the south parts of the Nairobi National Park. Those are my dad cows at the back, and behind the cows, that's the Nairobi National Park. Nairobi National Park is not fenced in the south where I live, which means wild animals like zebras migrate out of the park freely. So predators like lions follow them, and this is what they do. They kill our livestock. This is one of the cows which was killed at night, and I just woke up in the morning and I found it dead, and I felt so bad because it was the only bull we had. My community, the Maasai, we believe that we came from heaven with all our animals and all the land for herding them, and that's why we value them so much. So I grew up hating lions so much. The Morans are the warriors who protect our community and the livestock, and they were so upset about this problem. So they killed the lions. It's one of the 6 lions which were killed in Nairobi. And I think this is why the Nairobi National Park lions are few. So a boy from 6 to 9 years old in my community is responsible for his dad's cows. And that's the same thing which happened to me. So I had to find a way of solving this problem. And the first idea I got was to use fire, because I thought lions were scared of fire. But I came to realize that that didn't really help, because it was even helping the lions to see through the cow shed. So I didn't give up. I continued. And the second idea I got was to use a scarecrow. I was trying to trick the lions that I was standing near the cow shed. But lions are very clever. They will come the first day and they see the scarecrow and they go back. But the second day, they'll come and they say, this thing is not moving here, it's always here. So it jumps in and kills the animals. So one night I was walking around the cow shed with a torch, and that day the lions didn't come. And I discovered that lions were afraid of a moving light. So I had an idea. Since I was a small boy, I used to work in my room for the whole day. And I even took apart my mom's new radio. And that day, she almost killed me, but I learned a lot about electronics. So I got an old car battery, an indicator box. It's a small device found in the motorcycle, and it helps motorists when they want to turn right or left. It blinks. And I got a switch where I can switch on the lights on and off. And that's a small torch from a broken flashlight. So I set up everything. As you can see, the solar panel charges the battery, and the battery supplies the power to the small indicator box. I call it a transformer. And the indicator box makes the lights to flash. And as you can see, the bulbs face outside, because that's where the lions come from. And that's how it looks to lions when they come at night. The lights flash and trick lions that I was walking around the cow shed, but I was sleeping in my bed. Thanks. I set it up in my home 2 years ago, and since then we have never experienced any problem with the lions. And my neighboring homes heard about this idea. One of them, she had a lot of animals being killed by lions. And she asked me if I can put the lights for her, and I said yes. So I put the lights. You can see at the back, those are the lion lights. Since now, I've set up 7 bombers around my community, and they're really working. And my idea is also being used now in all over Kenya for scaring other predators like hyenas, leopards, and also it's also being used to scare elephants away from people's farms. Because of this invention, I was lucky to get a scholarship in one of the best schools in Kenya, Brookhouse International School, and I'm really excited about this. My new school now is coming in and helping by fundraising and creating an awareness. I even took back my friends to my community, and we're installing the lights to the homes which don't have, and I'm teaching them how to put them. So 1 year ago, I was just a boy in the savannah grassland, herding my father's cows, and I used to see planes flying over, and I told myself that one day I'll be there inside. So, and here I am today. I got a chance to come by plane for my first time for TED. So, my big dream is to become an aircraft engineer and pilot when I grow up. I used to hate lions, but now because my invention is saving my father's cows and the lions, we're able to stay with the lions without any conflict. Asholeng, it means in my language. Thank you very much.
You have no idea how exciting it is to hear a story like yours. So, you've got this scholarship.
Yep.
You're working on other electrical inventions. What's
Yeah.
the next one on your list?
My next invention is I want to make an electric fence.
Electric fence.
But I know electric fences are already invented, but I want to make mine.
Didn't you already tried it once, right? And you
I've tried it before, but I stopped because it gave me a shock.
in the trenches. Richard Tereri, you are something else. We're going to cheer you on every step of the way, my friend. Thank you so much.
You know, I wanted to show you this because, you know, it's an amazing video. And I wanted to show you this because you saw Pranav Mistry, right? And you saw Richard. We don't want to talk about the differences. The differences are obvious. It's stupid to talk about differences. But the similarities, right? Completely different background, both of them. But the similarities are almost the 5 things that we spoke about. Both of them believed in themselves. Both of them used imagination. Both of them looked for a problem to solve. Both of them generated ideas and implemented it. And my question before I leave, not my question, my plea before I leave, is what is the difference between Pranav Mistry, Richard Tereri, and all of us? Nothing, right? All of us are as similar to the two of them as anyone else. So therefore, why is it that the world doesn't have enough inventors? And I think it's time. And I want to be the bridge between Richard and Pranav. My job, I think, is about evangelizing innovation, evangelizing invention, and to be able to tell every one of us in this room and anyone who is listening to us is that it's easy, it's possible, and it's important to be an inventor. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Maybe we have 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Actually, there are some messages saying like, no, missing the session. It's very interesting, too good, and so on.
Okay.
And the Facebook also, people are actually following it and then like disliking my live. No, you can see. I'm just live tweeting the session.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Both on Facebook and in Cognos, so that people who are there can at least get the glimpse of what you just told.
Okay.
Any questions from the audience?
Actually, I don't have a question, but just a point to add. Probably like adding on.
Hello. Okay. Actually, in the last video that we saw, Richard said that was his third, third step or the third technique. So probably one more thing I would add is not giving up.
True.
Lot of people start. Lot of people have that urge for innovation. They start, but they give up easily.
Right.
So we shouldn't be afraid of failing. That's one more thing I would like to add.
And I think See, I have learned something in the last 1 month. I have learned two things about creativity. One, creativity helps you give an individuality to yourself, right? Any woman or man can stand up and say, I make the best sambar in the world. And that's what creativity gives. You don't have to be somebody's sister, somebody's brother, somebody's aunt, somebody's wife. You don't have to identify yourself as somebody. You simply say, I am the one who created this. I think creativity gives that identity. The other thing creativity does is gives you a space to fail. All of us need to fail, right? I failed in my BCom. It's very difficult to fail in BCom, right? You really have to work very hard. But I'm lucky I failed because I got ragged in a college. After I failed, I went to a tutorial college and I got ragged over there. They said, excuse me, how many times have you failed? I said, once. So you are not ashamed of yourself? We have 5 people here who failed 5 times, 6 times, failed once. And suddenly in my life, I'm so happy that I have had that opportunity to fail. And I think you are right. Therefore, if you want to fail in life, then you need to use creativity as a space for failing. I think that's a great opportunity we get in our lives in order to fail if we haven't had a failure. Otherwise, we just fall in love, Yes.
I think one of the point which you said is similar, we are not creative or we are not breaking the pattern because of the system in which we are in.
Correct.
To please pardon me again, I'm taking an example from MBA. People will ask a question, what is management? What does Taylor think about management? What does Peter Drucker think about management? But there is not even a single question, what do you think about management? Okay, there is an answer for this. My wife used to tell, if I ask what do you think about, people will write whatever stories they want. So we cannot have an objective correction. So, but we need to change the pattern again, right?
I think we need to start introducing creativity in schools and colleges as a subject of study. Yes, sir.
So a small doubt. Where do you think criticism will play a role in creativity? I mean, there is a self-belief, there is criticism is good. So where is the line which comes there?
I don't know. I think
my question is related to that. Actually, I wanted to ask us many times we do a lot of creative things, but we criticize ourselves actually. We think this is very low. This is not something creative. I think this compared to what Pranam Mistry is doing, so we don't value ourselves is what I believe.
Yeah. I had that doubt some time ago. I am starting to get an answer. I'm saying, I don't know about the answer to but in your case, the answer is, I think creativity is, there are different types of creativity or different types of people. For instance, my mother was very creative, right? And she used to make great food with very little resources. If there were 10 people in the room, in my house, she would quickly make something. To cook for 10 children in 5 minutes notice. Can we call Pranav Mistry not creative? We can't. My mother will not be able to make a picture with her fingers. Can I call my mother not creative? We can't. So suddenly we are learning that each one of us is creative in our own space with our limited knowledge, or, for instance, an engineer, a doctor. You understand what I'm saying? So suddenly we are starting to learn that we can be creative in the space that we choose to be creative in. With the example of my mother can't be Pranav Mistry can't be my mother, therefore they can't be called not creative, at the same time they can be called creative. And if we can sort of enjoy that space that we have, can I be creative in the way I bring up my children and enjoy that creativity instead of having a complex about Pranav Mistry creating something I am not? I think that's where the whole point is. Can I reward myself for my own creativity rather than be upset about someone else's creativity and compare myself to that person? Yes.
So there's been a question from a virtual viewer. Question to you. It's a question to you on suggestions for systematizing innovative projects by engineering students across the world. How would we go about? Students across colleges have ideas and...
Yeah, okay. I don't know the answer yet, because I think that question is about institutionalizing creativity, getting it into the syllabus and things like that.
Most of the innovations go unnoticed.
Yeah, right.
And how do
I think they should. I'm not sure about the answer now, but I'm saying there is a need for it.
I think we can't stop asking questions. questions to you, sir. Like this brilliant session. I think I'm sure people who are watching online or going to watch the archives really will benefit from whatever dynamite things you have given us. I think the example of Richard Tour and the Pranamsthi gave us a real the spectrum of possibilities which we can come up with, and we shouldn't be we should be brave enough to tell that I have done this small thing to the world. I think that's a great lesson for us. I think you really made us do this small exercise. I think which really opens up a lot of possibilities in our own workplace. Because in our workplace, often we take things for granted. Actually, I think that's the first mistake we often do. That user only will like this, or it will not work like this, and so on. I think probably our group will go back and then rework on a thing in the corporate life, and both in personal life also. I think your tips will definitely be of great value, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we gave very little time to Shiva for this exercise. We actually we completed 5 years last September of K community in Chennai, and we are planning an annual kind of a meet in IIT ICSR auditorium kind of thing, where we have half a day kind of session. So we would love to have you as one of the sessions there and have much more time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have